Part 3. Tense Times. The Impact of D-Day and Fighting in Normandy on Jersey. The unmistakable sound of powerful airborne activity was an exhilarating sign that something unprecedented was taking place. While Allied aircraft operating over Jersey under the cover of darkness at this stage of the war was not unusual, the seemingly endless throb of engines passing over during the early hours of 6 June 1944 signified something different. It must be the long-anticipated invasion of France, and possibly the start of Jersey's liberation too. The German occupiers certainly did not wait to find out. Shells and tracer bullets from massed anti-aircraft batteries climbed into the night sky, probing for shadowy airborne targets. The pilots en route to Normandy wrestling planes filled with American paratroopers must have cursed the enemy-held Channel Islands on that night of nights. The impressive light display was not the only one witnessed by islanders in recent months. In April 1944, the Germans had arranged an awe-inspiring military display. Troops bearing flaming torches marched through St. Helier at dusk to gather in the parade for a sombre military tattoo. Islanders received an invite to attend and observe the spectacle. Perhaps the Zapfenstrike, as it was called, was organised to cow local civilian spirits at a time when an Allied invasion of Western Europe appeared imminent. The Germans certainly wanted a quietly obedient population should fighting reach Jersey. Or perhaps its aim was raising determination among troops stationed in the island to stubbornly resist any enemy attack. Germany was obviously on the back foot in most theatres of war. Its troops might have needed reminding that military prowess remained strong here in the West. Regardless, the moment of truth was near for both occupied and occupiers. Would the Allied invasion succeed or fail? And what would be the outcome for Jersey in either event? While islanders speculated excitedly about the meaning of events occurring above and near Jersey on 6th of June 1944, the German fortress commandant responded with harsh alacrity. Germany's enemies on the point of attacking French soil, proclaimed General Eberhard Graf von Schmettau. At the first sign of unrest or trouble, I will close the streets to every traffic and will secure hostages. Attacks against German forces will be punished by death, he chillingly emphasised. Further orders closed all theatres and cinemas and brought the nighttime curfew forward by 1 hour to 10 p.m. Public houses would also shut half an hour earlier. In addition, the island's beaches were declared closed and out of bounds for islanders from that time forward. Only Harvey Park swimming pool would remain open, along with its adjacent stretch of beach. With the coastline cleared, heavily armed German troops installed themselves in bunkers and trenches around the island, diligently scanning the horizon for any sign of an Allied invasion force. Their commander moved his headquarters from the Metropole Hotel in Roosevelt Street into an immense bunker in St. Peter, part of a complex called Kernwerk, built especially for this moment. Expecting eventual battle casualties, German medical personnel moved into HO8, the tunnel complex in nearby St. Peter's Valley, then being converted into an underground military hospital. German Red Cross auxiliary nurses, who normally staffed soldiers' homes around the island, were on standby to serve in the vast installation, which today houses the war tunnels. If the Allies invaded, they would find Jersey's defenders ready and waiting. The civilian authorities also prepared for possible casualties among the population should Jersey be attacked. Designated first aid posts opened throughout the island, with individuals nominated to take charge. Each facility was capable of dressing simple wounds and possessed a cyclist messenger ready to race for specialist medical help if necessary. Among locations on the extensive list were St. Saviour's Parish Hall, under the control of Mrs. Balline from nearby Pattier Lane, the Old Bank House in Gorey Village, under Miss Richardson, Brown's Cafe at St. Brelard, under Mrs. Brown, and number 9 Ann Street, operated by Mr. Isherwood. Anticipating a disruption of supplies due to the fighting in Normandy, the civilian authorities also announced a reduction in the bread and meat rations. Operating from the French port of Granville, a joint Channel Islands purchasing commission had managed to secure essential food stocks since the autumn of 1940. With this ability now in question, the local authorities found it prudent to act. Meat would only be available for purchase on alternative weeks from 19th June, although there would be a small increase in the butter ration to compensate. From the same date, the weekly bread ration would decrease to £4 and 4 ounces for an adult, which equates to around 1 loaf, and £3 for a child. Adolescent young men and women working in manual jobs would receive slightly higher amounts. With preparations made, everybody in Jersey waited for the next move. The battle was clearly raging in nearby Normandy. evidenced by the booming sound of gunfire. In mid-June, the fighting came within sight of the island, technically at least, as American forces broke out from their D-Day bridgeheads to advance across the Cotentin Peninsula and capture Carteret. But they turned north and south at this point to assault Cherbourg and threaten Granville, rather than bounce across and storm Jersey. Allied ships probed the island's defences on occasions, turning away as Jersey's big German guns opened fire in anger for the first time to drive them off. American and British planes regularly passed overhead, a few deciding to buzz the island, strafing fortifications and installations and dropping occasional bombs. One such action on 14th of June ended in a tragic loss of life. An RAF Typhoon, piloted by squadron leader Henry Gonay, DFC, crashed into a farm in St. Juan after being hit while attacking shipping near Guernsey. The Germans allowed his burial with full military honours in the Howard Davis Park War Cemetery. A few days later, Allied planes dropped bombs on the German defences at Platt Rock on the island's southeast corner, causing widespread damage to nearby houses, but mercifully no casualties. Nearly 1 month after D-Day, presumably relieved defenders and disappointed islanders observed the 4th anniversary of the occupation starting on 1st of July 1940. Expectations it would soon be over, raised on the 6th of June, were slipping away. Compounding disappointment at the apparent lack of Allied interest in Jersey were reports from Normandy indicating a slow Allied advance and stubborn German resistance. The news was also full of stories about Germany's new wonder weapon, the V-1 flying bomb or Doodlebug. Launched from sites in France, these terrifying missiles were striking England with seeming impunity. Could they signal the change in Germany's fortunes foretold by Adolf Hitler? It looked like the war and German occupation of Jersey had a long way to go. Gloomy and anxious islanders could only turn their minds to the forthcoming winter, or possibly escaping to France.
Thank you for listening to Temps Passé. This episode was brought to you by Bailiwick Podcasts and the Jersey Evening Post. If you've enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss the next episode. And sign up for a digital subscription with the JEP to get access to its rich online archive and learn more about the island's history. Thanks again for listening.